find it a challenge to find ICT teaching aids for primary PE and sport? Well, today on Resource Review, we'll be looking at 3 that might just be winners. They are a CD-ROM for observing and analysing children's movements, a website of lesson plans for PE activities, and a CD-ROM showing best practice for gymnastics. Recommending today's resources is Sue Chedzoy. Sue is a senior lecturer in education who specialises in physical education at the University of Exeter. On the panel today is primary teacher Cerys Davis from Linthwaite Clough Junior Infant and Early Years School in Huddersfield, and we have Ray Barker, Director of the British Educational Suppliers Association. And our resident ICT expert Matthew Tosh will be putting the resources through their paces in the test lab. Well, so Sue, your first choice of resource for us today is the CD-ROM called Observing Children Moving.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, this is basically a resource which is aimed at practitioners of who are teaching children between the age of 3 and 7. It's an interactive CD-ROM. It's got examples of 12 capabilities and it basically shows early motor patterns and later motor patterns and gives teachers and those working with young children lots of good ideas on what to look for when analysing children's movement.
What is it about this that you like?
Well, I like the way that it's being very well researched. It's very clearly set out, it's easy to use, and I think it's the best of its kind.
Great, thank you very much. Well, now let's go over to Matthew in the test lab and observe him having a look at observing children's movements.
Being able to focus on different aspects of children's motor skills is at the heart of this resource. Now, there are a variety of skills to choose from, and we can see here on the menu. We're going to have a look to see what the programme does though by looking at the section on catching. Now, at the bottom of the screen there are some buttons that take you through each skill, and I'm going to have a look at the introduction.
Catching is the ability to receive and hold on to an object.
If we move on to the tasks, this helps guide you through looking at the video. You can see the number of tasks here at the top of the screen, and they guide you through the viewing and pointing out things to look for. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of the video available. The toolbar on the left hand side allows you to change the camera angle and the child that you're going to view. So I thought we'd do the split screen so you can see 2 children at the same time. Once you've got the video, you can click on an enlargement button down here, and that makes it full screen. Now, the video plays at normal speed first, and then it repeats 2 or 3 times in slow motion. This means you can really hone in on some of the detail. Now, I can change the camera angle. We're going to have a look at an above shot now, and this gives you a view that you might not normally be able to see. Now, the programme guides you through both early motor patterns and late motor patterns. It doesn't tell you which is which, instead it teaches you to spot them. And it does this using the analysis grid that we see here, and it breaks down each skill into its component parts. Now, I'm not a PE teacher, but I found this absolutely fascinating. Once you've perfected your observation skills, then you can go on to making a difference in this section down here. This guides you through a series of activities that you can carry out with children to help develop their motor skills. The feature that I really like though is this hotspots. It's got an interactive picture, and you move the pointer over and it gives you instant information about what the child should be doing. Well, that's about it for this resource. I haven't had time to show you the fantastic teachers section, all the background information. These are really thorough and include links to external resources. Well, I'm off to perfect my own motor skills now. You know, I never have been very good at fixing cars.
Well, so a great tour there from Matthew. But I can't help thinking, with a video camera, couldn't teachers really do the same thing that this resource is giving you?
Well, certainly with a video camera, the teachers could capture their children in action. But I think what this resource does is helps teachers to analyse movement, and not everybody feels confident to do that.
Well, another teacher who's used it is sitting next to me, Cerys. How did it go down in your classroom?
Well, we've been reviewing the product as a staff team, and the reception was very good off everybody, really. It's very, very clearly set out. It's simple, it's straightforward. The fact that you have not just the split screen to actually see the children's activities, but if you're looking at the tasks and as a professional development tool, it will give it to you in stages, so that it's not telling you what you need to know, it's asking you to work out, to actually test your observation skills first of all. Wow. And then it's going to give you the answers, and then you can use that with the children later on.
OK, well, let's just see, Ray, what do you think of this as a teaching resource?
I thought it was a quality product, really. I mean, considering it's only about £30, I thought it's excellent CPD content, but for kind of non-specialists, really, it's obviously a very difficult area for a lot of primary school teachers. But I mean, I'm looking at the box, actually, it got me a bit worried. It says this software is licensed for use on one PC only. So the licensing issues to do with software are always really difficult for teachers.
OK, well, now let's move on to Sue's second choice of resource. Sue, this is a website.
Yes.
Tell us, what is this website and what do you like about it?
It's Physical Education Primary Limited. It's PE resources for teachers in the primary phase. I think it's excellent because it covers all aspects of teaching and learning in physical education. It offers teachers a wealth of units of work, all linked to the QCA core skills and the national curriculum across all areas of activity.
And what is it about the site that you think is going to be most useful for teachers?
Well, I think the fact that the units of work and the lesson plans have all been written by experts. It also gives advice on management and organisation, assessment activities. There's a good section on teaching PE using ICT, which was relevant to this.
Yes, absolutely.
And altogether, it's fresh and alive with lots of exciting ideas.
OK, thank you very much. Well, it sounds like there's a lot on it. For a bit more of a tour, let's go back to Matthew in the test lab.
Once you've logged into the Physical Education Primary website, you'll notice that the bulk of the activities are lesson plans. And down the left-hand side of the page, you can see a variety of things that are available. We'll click on one now, we'll try the warm-ups. Now, at the top of the page, you can see a kind of general description of some of these activities, and you can scroll down to see all the activities available. If we click on one here, it takes you down to a bit more information about it. And most of the pages have that kind of format to them. If we look at this gymnastics page, again, you can see a general description at the top of the page. We scroll down, we get a list of our activities, we can click on one, and it takes us to that activity in a bit more detail. Now, one little niggle I have about this website is that the menu bar on the left-hand side scrolls with the window. So now, to get the menu back, I've got to scroll all the way back up to the top of the page. Now, we can have a look at some lesson plans. On the lesson plans page, you can go across the top, and you can pick out the unit that you want. We'll try this one here. And there we have our lesson plan. It's got lots of information there, including tasks and resources that are needed for that lesson. Now, for each lesson, there is also some work cards. So again, gymnastics, we'll have a look at this handstand one. But if you are going to print it out, you want to click on the printable version to make the printing a lot easier. Now, one bonus of this website is that there's also access to video footage and photos. We'll just have a look here at some rugby passing. Now, the videos run in Windows Media Player, which is not a problem for most computers, but one thing I would advise is a decent internet connection because some of the video files are quite big. So all in all, there's a lot on offer on this website, but is it of any use? Well, that's for you to decide.
Well, so a vast resource here for teachers. Maybe too vast? I mean, isn't there just a lot of information for them to wade through?
Well, I don't think they'd have to wade through it all. It's very clear that they can find whatever activity area they're looking for or whatever theme they're searching. So I think most people would welcome the fact that it is so comprehensive.
Well, Keris, what do you think? Do you think your school would find it this useful?
There was a huge amount of information, but we were saying rather than organise as a so, for example, if we go into gymnastics, if you want a lesson plan, yes, it says gymnastics 1, tells me QCA unit, but if I want to know, if I want to find something on a theme of rolling and turning, I have to trawl through these to find which is rolling and turning. We were saying it'd be better organised if it went by year group and then by theme to find.
So there's definitely some search issues, it
yeah,
sounds like.
a search button as well would be good for a skill, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, is that something that's lacking, do you think, Sue?
Well, I hadn't noticed it.
Right.
But it's nice to hear it pointed out.
Well, Ray, what do you think?
Massively comprehensive. I think that's the thing. I mean, as a non-specialist, it seemed to have everything you could possibly want in it. I'm not really clear about how much an average primary school would have a year for PE, but it would seem to me that £100 year on year on year is a fair wodge of money to commit to, you know, one curriculum area.
I would think it's a very worthwhile resource, and it's constantly updated, and it would be a good source of you know, current information for all schools. So yeah, I would recommend it to them.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Now let's move on to Sue's third choice of resource. Sue, this is a CD-ROM.
Yes.
Showing best practice for gymnastics.
This particular one is, although it's part of a series, it's part of a group which is showing best practice or inspirational work for gymnastics, dance, games across the national curriculum areas. It's interactive. It's aimed again really for teachers, I think, to help them in their short and mid-term planning, and it offers resources which give lesson planning, lesson blanks, unit blanks, cross-curricular links, and examples of seeing children in action. So again, there's video clips and also photographs of children.
Can we have a look at what's on it?
Yes, this particular one is Year 3 and Year 4, and say we pick out an example of jumping and landing, then it would give you the unit of work, the lesson plan, how it all fits together, and then it just shows a child in this instance showing you know, a series of jumps.
Quick comment from the panel, Karis. What do you think?
We did have a few technical difficulties with it. With the CD-ROM, we weren't actually able to access the lesson plans. So all I can really comment on is the video footage, which we were saying it would have been useful if you had some teaching points perhaps on a voiceover. And I mean, this video is not so bad because it's a long strip, but you've got some videos and some pictures that move really, really quickly. So we're saying we could have a pause button, because if you want to discuss it with children, you need to be able to hold that image and talk to them and have that capability to slow down what you're looking at.
Ray, what do you think of this?
I think that's what's going to, you know, either make or break it, really, those kind of things. I think the fact that it runs from a CD and, you know, and isn't loading onto your machine would drive me insane, because, you know, in schools we don't have a lot of very high quality computers like these, so you're probably running, you know, at half the speed in a lot of places. So, and, you know, just trying to get that to happen if you're doing training or you're working with kids, it's always going to cause an extra problem. And what teachers don't want is just that extra problem. They want easy access.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. But just to recap, the three resources that we looked at were Observing Children Moving from Tackle Sport Consultancy Limited, PEprimary.co.uk from Physical Education Primary Limited, and Inspirational Gymnastics from Brian Coates & Associates. For more information about the resources we discussed, go to our website. It's teachers.tv/resource review, or if you want to, email us, resourcereview@teachers.tv. A big thank you to our panel, to Sue, to Karis, and to Ray. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Resource Review. Bye-bye.